We're receiving a champion award tonight, yes?
I guess so. I haven't the foggiest idea.
Bill Williams Dillon. He is a warrior, a veteran. And Ann Vanderstill just got done interviewing me. He said, can we talk about something different? I have so much to talk about. So I want to go right to where is God? Like in this picture, we are about to go to war with Venezuela. With Venezuela. We're about to go to war. There's that possibility, right?
Yes.
So here we are at another war, and you know what it is to fight in war. So tell me, how important is faith in God in this time?
Why does it take the American people to really understand what it takes to defend this country and prevent wars than what Donald Trump is trying to do? When you talk about Venezuela, I agree with everything that guy's trying to do. I think the fact that he's shooting up all those boats with all the drugs that've been trying to go in this country is the right thing to do. I also think his proposal of destroying the sites where they build the drugs in Venezuela is also the right thing to do. Just as right as it was when he went to Iran and dropped the bombs flying 37 hours. Can you imagine doing that and then dropping the bombs right on target and then flying back? And let the people raise holy hell with them. I don't care, and neither do the people that like me and General Flynn. We don't care, because what you do by fighting these little things like you asked me about Venezuela is going to prevent a war, not start a war.
That's exactly what we want to do. It's like war is rearing its head, and we're saying, no, we're going to completely snuff it out now.
Yes, right. You snuff it out right now as a judge. You would be surprised how that comes and goes and how quickly it is and how quickly the American people would forget it. It doesn't mean anything. But for some reason or other, the Democrats just can't come to life to deal with this and understand that what this guy is trying to do and has done so much in just 11 months of his life, and not I can't tell you enough about Obama and Biden and their charges.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you one other thing.
Yes.
And that is this.
And again, Bill William Dillon, he is a veteran. I mean, he is a famous veteran at that, receiving a championship award at America's Future at Mar-a-Lago today.
I want you to listen to this. I have served under 22 presidents. 22 presidents.
That's amazing.
That goes all the way back to Hoover and all the way through Roosevelt, Truman, and all the rest of it. 22 presidents. And I'll tell you something. I've got the experience and the background and fought the war, and I want to tell you that the best guy I've seen in office in 22 has been President Trump.
Come on,
and
President
by God,
Trump.
not only that, I voted for Reagan twice when he was a governor.
Yes.
And I voted him twice when he ran for president. I voted for Trump 3 times when he ran for office, and I will vote for Trump today, and I'll do everything I possibly can to support that guy in any way, shape, or form. And you can listen to me. I got a loud mouth, but I'll tell you, I also got the ambition and the drive and the spirit to go with this country, who's the greatest country in the world.
So how do we emulate you? How do we take that same fight, that same warrior spirit, that champion spirit that you have?
I'm going to tell you a reason why. The reason why you can't. Because there's no, you cannot. Because you haven't lived the way I have. I'm talking about, I was born in 1924. The Depression came in 1929. So I lived through the full Depression, all the way through the Depression until the war started. And the Depression that we went through from 29 on was worse than World War II.
Wow.
Because our people had no jobs, had no need. you couldn't buy food. You had to have coupons to do just about anything. If you wanted, there was no cars built between 1942 and 1946. So and you couldn't, when a weekend came, and you couldn't get in your car and drive anywhere for a weekend and enjoy it. You couldn't do that because there was no gas. You were only allowed a coupon of A, B, C, D, and that depended on how far you would drive. If you went to work, you'd maybe allow a gallon or two, or maybe 2 or 3 gallons. But that's all you got. And whenever your tires weren't built, you couldn't buy any tires at all. You had to get them retreaded. We had no heating. We had no air conditioning. We had no washing machines. We had no dryers. We had no phone. We didn't even have a telephone. Telephone wasn't even involved until 1927. The first one was KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So the experience that we lived through is so dramatic and so dynamic and so trained you to have the discipline. So when we went to war in December of 1978, there was nobody like us. We were ready for it. You can't convince these young kids of what we went through. Not only just the war, but I'm talking about depression up to the war.
And what will it take if you know this young generation? Okay,
yes,
so
I do.
what is it going to take to move the needle, to get them involved and engaged, so their eyes are open and so they're not buying all of the lies coming at them with fifth generation warfare?
I blame that all on the teaching in the school. I blame on this crazy DEI, crazy crap. That is ridiculous. You need, although there's so few of us, but you need people like me to get in that classroom and tell these kids what it's all about and teach them how the hell to really live with this country, how great this country is, and how you have to fight for this country. It takes people like me to get there and do it. You got to show something. You got to show the diet. You got to show the energy. You got to show you the for you. And they don't do that in the schools anymore. They don't even teach you the civics anymore.
Or the Pledge of Allegiance.
Or you don't do any of that.
Right.
It's too bad there's so few people like me. But I'm telling you, they should invite me all over this country. I would go to any school, anywhere, anytime, and talk to anyone.
This is William B. Dillon. He is receiving the Champion Award tonight at Mar-a-Lago, presented by America's Future, and you want to stay in touch with us. We're going to be filming all night long. William, I want to bring you to Reagan's land. I want to bring you to California because we need to take California back.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Tell me.
No, because I've been invited by Cameron Moore.
Yes.
And I went on a yacht down at the Newport Beach.
Yes.
And we went on that yacht, and I met Steve Hilton, who's also running for governor of California.
Yes, I know Steve very well.
And Steve, and I told Steve, I want on his campaign.
Yes.
I'm willing to speak for him anytime, anywhere, any place. All you got to do is ask me, and I'll be there. So I'm telling all my friends, all of them, vote for Steve. I know there's going to be 10 or 12, so the chance of his getting on is good.
So I had 13 gubernatorial candidates on my stage for the Take Your Power Back California Governor Showdown. I was just in a conversation with General Flynn a couple of hours ago about this showdown. General Flynn had a message that we've got to unite, we've got to come together, we need to get behind one, and we need to take our elections back because the elections are still stolen in the state of California.
And I'll tell you what, you got to get people like me, and they're out there. You just haven't found them yet. I'm telling you, nobody found me except for the last 3 years.
So grateful.
Nobody found me except for the last 3 years, and I've been around all this time. I never looked for anything, talked to anybody. And the only thing was when I ran into Steve Moore, who was my author for my book, which I'm going to show you. He's the one who determined, after talking to me like I'm talking to you, they said, Bill, we're going to write a book. And we wrote the book. And it's called Strike of the Sailfish. And for the
Strike of the Sailfish.
Let me tell you, it's the only book that I know of that's written from an enlisted man's standpoint on a submarine during World War II, not from an officer's standpoint. I mentioned the officers in there, but it's a true story that you won't see in the logs. So don't believe ship's logs, because ship's logs don't say everything. Anything is bad, don't get in the logs. The things that are good are the only things good. My book tells you the things that went bad that are not in the log. So we're going to say, well, it's not the log. Yeah, it's the log. Who wrote the log? The logs are written by the officers, not by the enlisted man. Without the enlisted man, that submarine is useless.
Wow.
Useless. So without, and particularly the radio man, they are so important on a submarine. If you lose a radio gun, you might as well get on that submarine and take it to port because it's useless. And that's a fact.
All right, I believe that, and I want to know more. Where can we access your book?
You can find this easy. It's on Amazon and it's on Walmart. It's any
So Amazon, Walmart, and one more time, the name of your book.
The name of the book is, I got it for Heavy, I'll show it.
Yes.
It's called Strike of the Sailfish.
Strike of the Sailfish. Oh, look at this.
This is the book, Strike of the Sailfish.
Yes.
If you read this right up here, you'll see that I said this is a true story. This is the truth. Now look at this. I want to show you something else. This is the back of it. You see all these people? The only people, everyone on the back of this book is gone. And I am the last survivor of all of these. And this is my friends, my family.
William B. Dillon, go get the book today. Go get the book today. It is called Strike of the Saltfish. It's now time to strike. William B. Dillon, you are a blessing. God bless you. Congratulations on your award. Say hi to California.
I met my wife. She was 13. I married. She was 18. I had her for 72 years and 4 months. And I had 7 wonderful children from her. And one of them is working today on this.
And give us time to express what we're trying to do in America's future. And then honor our great people that were chosen very carefully. You're special to me because my own mother was one of the national right to life movement women in this country. Back in the day, and even ran for office against men who, women didn't do that. And so my brother and I were dragged around at every parade, everything we could possibly go with her, so she could, make that movement. And her biggest thing was, the feminist movement was going to move this country. And she was right. But so this is this very special person to me because of what she does, because of the babies, and the babies are the most important. They're the most important of all God's gifts, is the babies, really. I mean, this is about the babies. All enemies want the babies. So I want to thank all of you for being here and taking the time to. And I see Lindsay's back there, too. These champions are great. And Charlie Duke, he's a guy I met in the airplane. I mean, these guys I've met through my travels around the nation. I try to keep up with Lindsay. I try to keep up with my brother. I'm his back end, as they say, to try to push whatever he is trying to do, and that's to save the nation. So I just want to thank you. And Angela, do you want to say anything?
Wow, thank you so much for thanking me. I never thought of the work I did as that important until I found myself 21 years ago, chained to a bed, pregnant, giving birth to my daughter with the sheriff watching, and I had no idea that if you fast forwarded 21 years after that I'd be sitting in front of a U.S. president, who was President Donald Trump, sharing my story, and that he would make it illegal for them to chain women to the bed during childbirth. Neither did I imagine that same daughter that I birthed in that prison chained to a bed would be graduating from MIT next year on a full-ride scholarship. And so what that showed me is that there's value in life. And if we want to wrap it up to show you how awesome God is, I also never imagined that I would be advising Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is the head of the Health and Human Services Department on issues as regarding maternal health and the impact of abortion on our nation.
He's got a good one with you.
He's got a good
He
one.
needs
And
them,
when
too.
I worked
That's
with
right.
RFK, we decided that we were going to get on the solution side of things instead of the argument side of things. And our prayer is that we could bring unity to this nation. Remove the labels. Color doesn't matter. Race, religion, political party. It's good versus evil. What an honor to be here today with so many champions.
It is. It's good versus evil. That's what it's about.
I'd like to also, if I can introduce Bill Dillon.
Oh, Bill, yeah.
Mind coming on
Bill,
up?
come on.
I'd like people to.
Bill.
So Bill is a 101-year-old World War II veteran, a Bronze Star of Valor recipient, and pioneering aerospace engineer. And he served aboard the USS Sailfish from 1943 to 1945, one of the few sailors to remain on a single submarine for the duration of the war. Trained in advanced radar technology, Bill played a critical role during a violent typhoon when the Sailfish, relying solely on radar, sank an enemy aircraft carrier, an extraordinary achievement for the era. He's the last surviving crew member of the submarine, which also rescued 12 downed pilots during the Battle of Formosa. And after the war, Bill earned his degree from the University of Florida and joined the early U.S. space program at Cape Canaveral. And he is one of our champions.
Yes, he is. He's amazing.
So we wanted to honor him as well.
Yes, sir. Do you know I'm General Flynn's sister? So
What do you know about General Flynn is my brother. He's my twin. Did he tell you that?
no way.
Because I told him he's me and I'm him. Because he's just like me. He is.
You
He
look like
is.
you guys look alike.
Except
you got bluer eyes.
The same ambition, the same drive, the same everything.
Yeah.
And I told him the only difference between him and me is 60 years.
Right.
But if I were younger, I would be fantastic. Enjoying to be in his service with him. But
you
we're
are,
twins.
you are.
We're twins.
You are.
He knows that.
I think that's amazing. I hope he lives to be that your age too. I mean, the way he's going, he's got my mother's genes, so that's a pretty good sign. But I want to honor you because the military is very special in our family. I know you know that.
You bet you
You've
know
had total conversations with my brother, but I was born between both those generals, and I'm the youngest girl of 9 kids, and I watched, we were raised in the military, okay, and that's the way our family has grown up, and that's what we put everything into our lives is about this country and the patriotism and saving this country. So we're right there with you, and thank you for being here.
I'm one of 12.
Wow.
And I'm the last of 12. But during and after the war, I have there's 7 boys, but 5 of us joined the service. 5, all the way through the service. And so yes, we are military all the way through.
We are, and it's a good life too. It's a good discipline.
It's a fantastic life.
That's right.
But for me to sit here with you and talk with you is absolutely totally beyond belief, because seriously, I never talked to anybody for the last 75 years, so ever. Even not to my family, I never talked about it. And it's only because I ran in just by pure accident. I ran into Steve Moore on an airplane. There's a long story of that. And we finally wrote a book, because after he talked to me just like you and I talked, and all of it take a little bit, and he said, Bill, we're going to write a book. And so we wound up writing that sailfish book, okay? The strike of the sailfish. What that means is, when they say strike, that's when we fired the torpedoes. And of course, the sailfish was the number of my submarine, which was 192. So strike of the sailfish that we did. And not only that, it was the only submarine in World War II, the only one that sunk an aircraft carrier by ourselves.
Wow.
Not every by ourselves. And we did it with a raging typhoon.
Wow.
And listen to this. We never even saw this. We didn't even know what it was. And I'm on the radar, and I'm reporting the blips that we were seeing on the radar for the first time in the history of submarine warfare wasn't done before. And I'm reporting the blips that we're getting on the radar, which gives you the distance and everything else. We didn't even know what was up there. All we did was pick the biggest blip and reporting it to what we call the TDC, the Target Data Computer, and then from there we put that into the computers forward. But if you just, it's beyond belief what the hell we did.
Yeah.
Nobody has any idea what a submarine guy on a diesel engine in World War II is. One more thing I'll tell you about it. We were in a pandemic our whole life because we had 85 to 90 guys on that boat, and just because somebody gets sick, we didn't throw them overboard. And we just put him in his bunk and said, you stay there for a little while, and we did the best we can. But we were in a pandemic, and so when the pandemic came along, what the hell are you talking about a pandemic? We didn't need to stop what we did, and it almost ruined the country with this COVID. I took all these crazy things, but I'll never take another shot, ever again, never.
I know, God bless you. You're a blessing. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, you're a blessing. Never mind. Take this compliment because you're a blessing. We have to listen to these stories. The young people need to hear these stories about this country and what you did for this country, and that's why you are a true champion.
Well,
You are, sir. No question.
Well, they just don't teach.
Well, we
When
know.
we graduated from high school, it was the same as a college education today.
Right.
It was the same as a college education. How could I, seriously, I went in the service when I was 17 years old. I didn't even graduate with a GED, not even that. I came out of the service after almost 6 years. After the service, I had 2 kids. I went back to high school. And then I wound up getting my engineering degree from the University of Florida. And then I got my master's degree. Then I went to UCLA and I tried on my PhD. And I wouldn't do it except 7 kids got in my way. And I couldn't finish it. But what I'm telling you is that within 5 years after I graduated, 5 years, I was offered to head up the entire department at Port Naval Shipyard to handle all of the electronics on submarines as a GS-11 in 1955. And within 5 years later, within that time, I became the manager, the range planning manager for all of the 13 downrange stations. And I was in the blockhouse with Werner von Braun, Dr. Davis, Dr. Bruner, and Henry Paul, and Ray Clark, and all the people, and when we launched the very first satellite into space. One last thing, and after we did that,
So good.
then we went down to Melbourne, Florida, and you can believe us that most you people have no idea who Werner von Braun is. He became good friends of mine, and I knew all the astronauts. I worked with all the astronauts. And anyway, we went down to Melbourne, Florida. I wrote hopscotch on the ground, and Werner von Braun and I were skipping hopscotch in Melbourne, Florida.
All right. Thank you, sir. Let's
bless
all
you.
give him a hand.
Amazing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one question for you, sir. This is really important, okay?
And wait a minute, my hearing is terrible.
Okay.
Can you repeat it
Yes.
tonight? Okay.
You repeat.
So I cover the HHS, I cover Secretary Kennedy in Washington, D.C., and he told us in a press conference a couple months ago that potentially only 60% of American young men are healthy enough to serve in the U.S. military, potentially more. How do you feel about that?
Robert Kennedy has said that only 60% of the youth, the young boys, right?
In America,
In
right
America
now,
are healthy enough to serve in the military.
less than 60%.
Less than 60%. What do you think of that?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, for people like me, who lived through the Depression, we didn't have any of that. Penicillin hadn't even been developed yet. Nothing. My mother died at age 39, by the way, after she had 12 kids. And why did she die? Because I operated on her when she had an abscess tooth, which today they would never do. So, when I think what the question you just asked me is unbelievable. You need the drive, you need the ambition, you need people out there like me to tell you what it was like.
Right.
and get that behind
Right, and
you.
they were starving. Depression meant that people were starving. They didn't have any food. So, but they were patriots, though.
Yes.
That's what they did. They loved this country. That's the thing I believe that is missing is these kids are not growing up to love this country like these young men were.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. You think of it. Like I said, I'm sitting here talking to you folks, all right? But for almost 75 years, I never opened my mouth. Never. I never told anybody anything. And it's only because Steve Moore got me started.
Well, we need your voice today. We have to have your voice today. You're very important.
Now, what happened to me since then? I don't know whether I was a hero of the game for the Dodgers. I was a hero of the game for the Rams. I was a hero of the game for the Galaxy. I was a hero of the game for the Kings. I've been a hero of the Chargers. On November the 9th, they went to the Chargers and said, you know what's something? And they interviewed me, and you see me up on the screen and everything else. Within 4 hours, it's just unbelievable. Within 4 hours, there's 1.5 million hit ticks that they picked up on that. And then hundreds, you ought to read the comments that they make. It made me cry when I saw that. And the people were clapping and hollering and yelling and everything else. And particularly when they showed it the second time, Jesus, oh God Almighty. It's unbelievable. And I never told anybody anything.
God has a moment for everybody.
We also have another champion here. I want to introduce
Absolutely.
Jason Redmond.
Jason.
Jason, he is a retired Navy SEAL, wounded warrior, New York Times best-selling author, speaker, entrepreneur, and coach. He served 21 years in the SEAL teams, completing 5 deployments, including combat tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. He was severely wounded outside Fallujah while leading his team on a mission targeting a high-value al-Qaeda leader. His team survived only after calling an AC-130 gunship strike directly on their position, the closest fire mission of the Iraq War. His bright orange hospital door sign later became a national symbol of resilience. He now teaches the overcome mindset that carried him through leadership failure, a near fatal ambush, life-altering injuries, and a major business crisis. He's a highly sought-after speaker, and he's delivered over 700 keynotes and won the 2025 Great American Speak Off.
And then we get a quick picture before we quick picture over here. Right over here.
Why don't we right over
Yeah,
here?
over here.
And if
Elijah.
Very, very honored.
Grab this picture.
Thank you for coming.
And Jason, if you have a few words you want to
Just
say.
look at the camera over here real quick. Maybe we should get Bill in there. Yeah, he should go in there.
Yeah, you should get up there with him.
Come,
There
Bill.
we go. There we go.
Come on, Bill.
We're looking at this camera right here. This camera right
You
here.
don't have to, but you certainly can. There you go.
Right here, one.
Look at these handsome men.
1, 2. Beautiful. Look at you guys looking beautiful. That's perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
Bring this back to you. Oh, it's working.
Oh, it's going to the camera.
It's going to the feed.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Jason, I don't know if you have a few words you want to say about being recognized by American.
Jason is a chosen, Jason was, my brother is the chairman of this organization, the chairman of the board, who was, and I don't know if you remember, but it was the baton passed from a General John Singlo. He died 3 years ago, 101. He was NSA. And he passed the baton on to Michael, General Flynn, and this is his network. The champions are General Flynn's network. They're in every state. We have them across this country, and he stays in touch with them every month. They communicate a lot with General Flynn. So it's really special, these champions. So you're chosen because, General Flynn really has an input in the champions, and thank you. I want to say a few words. I'd love that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm honored. Bill, thank you. You set the example for us. And glad I'm not speaking Japanese or German.
That's a fact. I appreciate that. That's a fact.
I would just say, we were talking about young men not being qualified to serve in this military. I think it's just probably a change that occurred after World War II. We probably lost our way. I think a lot of Americans are waking up to that, which is awesome. I think it's amazing and critical. One of my missions is how do we get our current generation of veterans. Bill and the World War II veterans came home and they saw it upon themselves to get back out in the community and lead. And you know, they started businesses or they ended up moving into management positions, but they were leaders in business and their community and their families. And I think we've lost some of that some. I think a lot of our veterans come home and they're lost. The system's broken to try and help them. As much as the VA wants to do, there's a lot of broken parts of that system, and it's one of the things I'm definitely very passionate about helping. But I think our veterans and helping them to achieve the American dream and then encouraging them to get back out and lead in all aspects, their families, in their communities, and business. I think that's what will set the example for the rest of the next generation of Americans to once again love this country, to defend this country, to understand that strength through peace, that peace through strength is one of the most critical things we can have. And that is one of my passions and one of my missions.
I want to mention one other thing. I'm just these people are aware of it at all in any way, shape, or form. But during World War II, people in submarines, the submarine had the highest percentage of losses of any service whatsoever. In other words, 1 on 5 died. All right, and when we lost them, we lost everything, type of thing. But something, one other thing, when we went on war patrol, I wanted to tell you something. We did it day by day by day by day by day. We did it over and over and over. Where I had hundreds of death charges dropped on me, hundreds. Okay, and I was scared. Didn't even enter our mind what the word scared was meant. We felt we were there to do a job, and we did it. We really didn't care. In fact, we almost lost the boat twice, which it's a long story, I won't tell you. But all I did was name the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. We thought we were going, and I didn't care. But we had to go see a psychiatrist at the end of every patrol to make sure that we had enough sense to go back again. It's the only service that did that. Why is that? Because we were in a we were in a pandemic. We had terrible problems, but we just kept doing it over and over and over again. And I was doing it again tomorrow.
It's the resilience of what you call American exceptionalism. And that's really a big process.
Submarine people were different people.
They were. My uncle was submarine. My Uncle Frank Andrews was submarine.
Different people.
We had Navy and Army. And there was some big fights in that family when that game came on, that football game. So that's good. I mean, we should honor them, and we should always remember that, you know, civics left the school system too, teaching kids civics, and that's a lot of problems. They didn't hear the stories of our great men and women who served and did what they did, sacrificed for
I'll
this
just say
country.
one other thing. You asked me why we're having a problem with the kids today. Because they see what Obama and Biden's been doing, and they didn't care at all. They didn't care one bit about us veterans. Nothing. There was nothing ever done to help the veterans. In fact, they're still talking us down. Trump is the first guy that's come along, and he is for veterans. Why do you think every one of the services have met above their qualification number that they were searching for? Why? Because he's a different kind of guy that was in there previously. So how can you have people like Obama and Biden be there and then expect people to fight the war for them?
I know, you're right, but you got to understand that this country was infiltrated, and it was infiltrated in 1946 when this organization is 80 years old, sir. 80 years old, 1946. These guys were trying to tell everybody about communism infiltrating this country. And it infiltrated every system, even the church. So it's a matter of people that hate this country got into office. That's why we can't do that anymore. We have no time to get people that hate America and what we stand for in this country. No more. These children are too important. The generations will kill each other if we don't. So
Get
we need this
me
country.
on TV.
Yeah, you're on.
You're on TV.
There you go.
And get me out there. I'll get the word out there.
I think that should kind of wrap it right now.
Okay.
If people want a few one-on-ones now, you can knock them out. I know, and then we're gonna head over.
Yeah.
Do some media media needs to register. Make sure you're checked in and you're registered. If you're on the list, you'll just right across, right when you walk out there. That's where you'll get your lanyards, and we'll just check off your name.
Can I grab you real quick?
And I know a couple people want to interview you real quick. I know you do, and Ann Vandersteel does too.
Okay.
And then, folks, if I can also just say to the press, what's going to happen is we're going to leave here at round 2. We're going to head over to Mar-a-Lago. Once we're at Mar-a-Lago, we're going to go into the gold and white room. That's going to be for cameras. In the gold and white room, you're going to see kind of a conversation occur with a few folks, with General Flynn, Mary Flynn O'Neill, some other folks, I think Mike Tyson or Tyrus, I'm not sure exactly who. And that'll be for about half an hour. That'll be totally on record. And then at 4 o'clock is when the round table starts. And that's in the same room. And a lot of kind of VIPs and some of the donors come in. And there'll also be a conversation in there. But again, all of that's on the record for members of the press can shoot there. There might be a few questions for Q&A, but very few. After that, what's going to happen in that same room, there's a backdrop, and that's where a lot of the donors will get their photos taken with people. Then you have the cocktail reception that's going to start around 5 o'clock, and that's outside. And they have this this insane buffet. It's off the hook. It's this Mediterranean. It's like the best orchard you've ever had. Anyway, that's going to be going on. Then, right before the actual gala starts, right around 6:30 or so, there's a red carpet that goes into the grand ballroom for those who haven't been there. And they have these bagpipers that go in, that march in. It'll be like you'll be in. There's a red carpet. All the big wigs kind of go in and stuff like that. And you guys are going to be able to be on the sides, shooting that. Maybe pull in a couple people away for little side interviews if you like, and stuff like that. And of course, if the president shows up, all bets are off. So that's it.
He's not coming.
Okay.
Awesome.
So then,
Okay, Jason, I'm so happy that you're Kim Yeater on the Take Your Power Back show.
Kim?
You're probably the person I'd like to host.
I love it.
Okay, so this is Jason Redman, and I'm going to get him right here. We're live right now, and then I'm going to catch him on my camera so we can play this on the show. So Jason, stand by. And you got your mic on. Let me get you set to go. All right, Jason, an absolute honor to be here with you right now. I'll tell you, I went through the list of all of those that were going to be here to receive their championship award. And I said, I want to be Jason! I want to be Jason! And I'll tell you why. And there were so many reasons, but one, you lay down your life for me. You lay down your life for my 4 children, for my grandchildren, and for so many Americans. So one, I want to say thank you so much. And number 2, you didn't stay down when you were hit. You got back up, you fought, and you now continue to fight for the rest of us so that we're reminded to stand up. So when you wrote that letter, I want you to imagine the moment you were in the hospital room and all of this took place. You were down, okay? You had been hit. I mean, you were in survival mode, but you did not want anyone to come into that hospital room feeling sorry for you and bringing any negativity. You wrote a letter. Tell us about that letter. You put it up on the door. Tell us about that, because I think that's probably one of the coolest things. You've inspired me to do that at my home.
Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate thing in this life. I think when people are knocked down, when something bad happens to them, several things happen. We get the victim mindset, like, why did this happen to me? All of us think it in the beginning, but the critical point becomes you have a choice. And the other part of that is oftentimes people will place us in that victim box. They'll be like, oh, Kim, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And it almost gives people an excuse to not get up. And some people came into the room and they did that to me. They were in the room. They were feeling sorry for my wounds. They were talking about how all these young wounded warriors that were in the rooms around me, how would they ever have a successful life? Would they ever achieve their American dream? This was the conversation that was happening. And then they left. And I remember looking at my wife, and I couldn't talk. I'm wired shut. I'm straight. And I wrote to her, and I said, you know what? That's never going to happen again. I said, I will never feel sorry for myself again. And no one else is allowed to come in here and feel sorry for me. And I wrote out that sign, just a straight up stream of consciousness. And it said, attention to all who enter here. If you're coming into this room with sadness or sorrow, don't bother. The wounds I received, I got a job that I love, doing it for people that I love, defending the freedom of a country that I deeply love. I will make a full recovery. What is full? That's the absolute utmost physically. I have the ability to recover, and I'm going to push that about 20% further through sheer mental tenacity. This room you're about to enter is a room of fun, optimism, and intense rapid rebirth. If you are not prepared for that, go elsewhere. And we signed it, the management, and it obviously took on a life of its own after that.
It's absolutely incredible. So incredible. An inspiration for every single generation. Are you getting to talk to the younger generation? Are you inspiring those kids? Even some of these kids maybe that are born with a deformity or they've gone through something tragic. Have you been able to talk to them yet?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, that sign has impacted millions of people. What's been incredible is I have had individuals who, yes, they had individuals born with a disability, wounded warriors, individuals going through cancer, individuals that have been in accidents, individuals whose kids have cancer, have a disability, or have been through accidents. It's been incredible. So many have said, hey, I put your sign on my door, or they found it and they asked me, would you send me a signed copy? It has been a powerful thing. And it's motivated people all across this country, from the highest level, some of Secretary Gates, all the way to heads of state. I've gotten personal letters who have seen it. I did not keep the sign. I didn't feel like it was mine to keep. President George Bush signed it, and it hangs in the Wounded Ward at Walter Reed, and warriors touch it for luck before they go for surgery.
Amazing. Okay, last question for you, Jason, because I know you're a most wanted man right now. So tell me, where is your faith? Who is your faith in? What drives you every day? What drove you to write that sign? What was it that ignited that?
Well, I mean, I was raised a strong Christian, and that night on the battlefield was a miracle. I write about it in my book. I speak on churches about it. You know, it's in our darkest times, and we never know why God does things He does. Sometimes we have to walk the path. People often ask why. And I've tried to explain to them that sometimes it's necessary to go through sacrifice and hardship. But that night on the battlefield, we're pinned down. Closest fire mission that was ever executed in the Iraq War. I'm bleeding out. I called out to him and said, hey, I need your strength to go home. And suddenly I had strength. Suddenly I went from not being able to move a muscle to, I don't know how much longer that gunfight lasted, almost 40 minutes. But from the time I called that prayer to the time the medevac landed, almost 75 yards away, I got up and I walked under my power and got on that medevac. Doctor said it was a miracle I survived. They said I'd lost almost half my blood supply. I would need 8 blood transfusions over the next 96 hours. So,
a miracle.
So, yeah, faith is a hard thing sometimes for all of us. We all question it. I tell people in churches that's okay. Even the disciples question their faith at times. And that's okay. That's part of the process. But put it back. Watch the miracles that are happening. Be thankful for the adversity you go through. It's what makes us stronger and better. And it's part of the journey God has laid out for you.
Jason, you're amazing. Congratulations on your championships award. You deserve it because you are a champion. God bless you, my brother. So good.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'd love to have you speak in our church. It's a huge church.
Okay.
Pastor Yeater, it's called the Awaken Church. I'm in California.
Oh, nice.
I led the California Governor's Show across the country.
Yeah.
Well, not across the country. Across the state of California.
Okay.
Would you reach out to me? And I personally, I'd like to share with everybody.
Yeah, I would love that. Great. Yeah.
I know most of the sufferers out there, but just...
Yeah, but you know the deal. We all live. Trauma is trauma. I've tried to say this to lots of people. You don't have to have trauma just from war.
Yes.
Childhood trauma, sexual trauma, physical, verbal.
Yeah,
still trauma.
I call it Isaiah 54 boogers in the Bible for me. That was my awakening.
Yeah.
That is so great.
I love it.
So good to meet you.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, absolutely. Bless you too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know so. Anne probably wants to get you next. Hi. Here we go. I lost mine. Mark Anthony has my list.
Who?
I'm trying to think of yes, all the guys that are here. So here's one here. Martin Championship Award. This gentleman here, yes. Yes. He's getting an award. Do you know the other ones that are getting awards?
No, off the top of my head, no. I don't.
It's okay, neither do I. Hey, hold on. We do know the ones that are getting the awards. Stand by. I got my list. All right, so why don't you say hello and introduce yourself to our live audience?
Oh, we're live?
Yep.
Oh, where?
Well, all over, really, on every platform.
Oh, what's up? I'm George Balancing from the Big Mig Show here in Florida, West Palm Beach with Kim, my lovely friend. By the way, I am single, not married, no kids, if anybody out there.
He is single. I'm a connector, I gotta tell you. I might know your
I'm from
wife.
North New Jersey, but I'm moving out here soon.
Jersey boy. I'm from Boston. Come on, Jersey.
What's this? That's wicked awesome.
Wicked. I park my car in Harvey Yard when I get tired.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so tell us what brings you here. Why was it so important for you to be at the America's Future Championship Award Night?
Well, when it comes to General Flynn, Mary Flynn O'Neill, anything to support them, we'll always support them. But it's for the children. How can you not want to support anything for the children? Children are innocent.
Yeah.
You treat them, they're babies. You don't hurt them. You're supposed to encourage them, protect them, and that's it. You shouldn't need no more reason. So if you're out there, buy a ticket and get here today. That's all I got
Get
to
here.
say.
We're heading to Mar-a-Lago in just a little bit. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being a stand for. Thank you for being a stand for children. And listen, I have 4 children, and I'm here to see my. After I leave here, I'm going to see my grandbabies.
Oh, good
In
for you.
Florida, which is
You
pretty
got
amazing.
grandchildren?
I got 2. It's
You're confident
amazing.
having
It's
grandchildren.
amazing. But the point is, you hit the nail on the head. It is all about the children, and God calls us to protect the children. So thank you for being that warrior.
I got my armor on. It's battle tested. It's dented. It's on.
You're awesome.
Thank you, love.
All right, that's a wrap for the moment.